Hello and welcome back to day 7 of 12 days of anime. Today I'm going to talk about My Hero Academia Season 3. This video will not include any spoilers from the manga, so if you're only watching the anime of My Hero Academia, it is perfectly safe to watch this video all the way through, don't worry about that. So what I'm going to talk about today is just really my thoughts on Season 3 as a whole, not really from a critical point of view, though I will probably mention something about the season that I didn't quite like or something that could have been done better, but that isn't really the intent behind the entire video. Well, I'm just gonna give my thoughts on the season as a whole really, and quite frankly, it's gonna be a lot of positive stuff. So my general thoughts on season 3 of My Hero Academia is that it was really good in my opinion. I really liked how everything was really used and adapted, quite frankly. Of course, there's gonna be a few moments where I had, some other opinions, but overall, season 3 was fucking great. In fact, I would say it's the greatest season out of the 3 that we've had, easily. Especially since it does include one of the most important arcs in the show, as well as the fact that, it's obviously having a really huge fight towards the end of the season, as well as, teasing some great characters that are gonna be relevant next season, which I'm not really gonna talk that much about, to be honest, but that was something that I really enjoyed seeing, and I think was a really good way to end off the season. Was season 3 a good adaptation from the manga? To that I would say yes, it was a really good adaptation from the manga, because they don't really skip out anything that was in the manga, which I think is a good plus, but that's just something that I really enjoy seeing from Studio Bones. They really like to stay quite close to the source material, especially with My Hero Academia. I don't really know how well they do with other series, to be honest, but with My Hero Academia, they're staying quite faithful to the source material, which I really enjoy seeing. Some of the key moments, or most of the key moments, should we say, were actually extremely well adapted, especially the fights that we got that really had a huge impact on the series. Like Deku versus Muscular, All Might versus All for One, Deku versus Bakugo. These fights were definitely extremely well adapted in my opinion. There's really nothing to complain about when it comes to these fights. But looking at the season as a whole, it's still really well adapted, apart from a few moments that I will bring up shortly. But the OST that plays, it's not really that different from the previous seasons. We have a few new tracks, of course, but it's not really anything majorly different. That said, they were still used quite well in my opinion. I really did enjoy how the music and the actual content was put together. It's not really something that I normally would have any problems with, and sure enough, I didn't have a problem with it this season either. So I'm really glad that it's not something that I picked up on as a negative thing, because sometimes, that can happen, but not with My Hero Academia apparently, and I'm really glad that's the case. I really hope they keep this pattern, honestly. Now, a moment that I think could have been done better, or a few moments maybe, let's talk about some of the moments that I think were not necessarily badly adapted, but not perfectly adapted either. The first one is when Bakugo is at the villain hideout during the Camino arc, before All Might vs All for One actually happens, when Bakugo pretty much tells Shigaraki that he is not going to join the villains, that he looks up to All Might. There's something about that moment that really bugged me, and that is the cinematography of that scene, because they show it from an angle that really doesn't present the scene in its full glory, in my opinion, because in the manga you get to see how it is angled very differently, although it is the same scene. So they didn't skip that scene, they simply changed it and they made it seem a bit less impactful, in my opinion, mind you. I'm not saying that this is gonna be the case for everyone. I'm saying for me, I would have preferred it if they kept it the way it was in the manga, mostly because I really like the manga of My Hero Academia. As a whole, I think the manga is actually a lot better than the anime is, but there are definitely moments in the anime that surpasses the manga, don't get me wrong. So I guess you could call it a nitpick really, and that's really all I have with My Hero Academia's anime. It's really nitpicks, just personal things that I think could have been done better for my personal enjoyment. Let's move on to the next point, because I think if I were to mention other scenes, it's still just gonna be nitpicks, so may as well just skip that. So what's my favorite moment in season 3 of the anime of My Hero Academia? That's a simple one, really. My favorite moment in season 3 is one of my favorite moments from the manga, because this moment was actually so well adapted. I would even say it was better than the manga, and that is the moment when Deku finally defeats Muscular during the training camp arc, and he is acknowledged by Kota, the little child, as his hero, who previously would have considered Deku or all heroes to be trash. He didn't like heroes at all. And Deku grows on him so far as to become his first hero, and that also happens to be the first time anyone acknowledges Deku as a hero, which is a great milestone in Deku's road to becoming the #1 hero of all time, which is his goal. So that was definitely my favorite moment in Season 3 of My Hero Academia, but don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great moments, like Deku vs Bakugo is another great fight, though I still think that Deku becoming a hero to Kota definitely sits a lot closer to my heart, if I'm being honest. Anyway, that has been day 7 of 12 days of anime. I hope you liked it. I just wanted to talk about My Hero Academia's 3rd season because, well, I do like My Hero Academia quite a lot, so why not, right? Just could not talk about My Hero Academia during the 12 days of anime. So I would love to know what you thought about the 3rd season of My Hero Academia, if you watched it. And yeah, as always, if you did, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This has been Chaotic Plus, and don't forget to check out day 8 of 12 days of anime tomorrow.